Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today on who I think has a shot to win the World Series in 2019. So what I did was compile a list, separate them by division of every team that I think has a chance to win the World Series in 2019. I have the odds in front of me as well. And basically, I looked at all 30 MLB clubs and basically made a list of 17 baseball clubs that I think have a shot to win the World Series. So let's dive into it. I'm going to start with the AL East. I think there are 3 teams in the AL East that I think have a shot to win the World Series. The Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, and Tampa Bay Rays. Let's talk about the Red Sox. They have the best odds at 6-1, according to Vegas Insider. And I'm looking at the odds, by the way, the day after the World Series ended. I'm looking at those odds. But anyways, I am sticking to my bold prediction that I said in my bold prediction video for 2019 that the Boston Red Sox will not be in the playoffs. I'm sticking to that, but you gotta put them on this list. That team is very talented. They have good starting pitching. They have good hitting. They have good everything. Bullpen's gonna be a big issue. It looks like this year for the Red Sox again. It was kind of an issue last season. But this upcoming season is going to be a big-time issue, in my opinion. So with the Red Sox win the World Series this upcoming year, we'll wait and see. Personally, I don't even have them in the playoffs. New York Yankees. Yankees were pretty close last year. They just needed some depth. They took care of that. They went out and got Troy Tulowitzki. They just signed that reliever from Colorado. His name escapes me. So, the Yankees, they're definitely primed for a run. The starting pitching, I'm not completely sold on, but I think that is like the one thing you gotta look at, that starting pitching. Not completely sold on it, but it's good enough. So, we'll see what the Yankees do in 2019. And then the Rays. Listen, the Rays are going to be that sneaky dark horse team, in my opinion. Their odds, the Tampa Bay Rays odds is 30-1, and by the way, the Yankees odds are 7-1. But the Rays, they're going to be very, it's going to be very interesting to watch the Tampa Bay Rays. They have the Cy Young winner and Snell. They also have, they signed Charlie Morton. They have okay starting pitching after that. They have a pretty good bullpen. The only question for the Rays is that can this hitting show up for the Rays? They have some players I think break, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for the Rays. So these are the 3 teams in the AL East that I think have a shot to make win the World Series. Toronto. I'll go through the 2 teams in this division real quick that don't have a shot. Toronto, I just don't think they have enough. The rumors that they may trade Marcus Stroman, I don't know if there are or not. And then the Orioles, I'm an Orioles fan, and I'm not going to start ranting. AL Central, I think 2 teams in the AL Central will have a shot to win the World Series. We'll start with the Cleveland Indians. By the way, I think the AL Central is the weakest division in baseball this upcoming season. Indians, you look at the Indians, they basically the Indians, they're looking at trading Corey Kluber. They could be losing a few other pieces. Still, the Indians are kind of in transition. They're almost in retooling mode if you think about it. So I personally, even if they make the playoffs, I don't know if they can sit up there and make really a run outside maybe the divisional round. You look at the other team, the Minnesota Twins, and by the way, the Indians, they have a 12-1 odds. The Minnesota Twins, they have 100-1 odds. I'm putting them on this list for 2 reasons. 1, I'm sticking to my bold prediction that the Twins are winning the AL Central this year. And 2, this team is not bad. They have some talent on this team. They still need to develop a lot of talent. The pitching staff is okay. The bullpen's okay. They just need to develop their hitting some. They need to just develop their players. If they could do that this season and win the AL Central, you got to put them in there for them having a shot at the World Series, winning the World Series in 2019. Now to the AL West. Oh yeah, and by the way, the other three teams. Before I go to the AL West, White Sox, they actually have better odds than the Indians at 50-1. Even if they get Manny Machado, and by the way, if that offer is true, that if they offered Manny Machado supposedly a 7-year, $175 million deal, if that offer is true, that's an insult. Machado should be getting 8 years at $250, in my opinion. Even if they get Machado, I just don't think it's enough to really compete if you're the White Sox. The Kansas City Royals, they're trying something interesting. They basically have every speedster that could steal 50 bags on their team except D. Gordon. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting experiment there. And then the Tigers, they suck. So that's what I think about the AL Central. AL West, three teams, the Astros. They have a 7-1 odds. Astros, they're pretty close. If they don't re-sign Dallas Keuchel, though, could be a little bit of trouble with that starting pitching. But even then, I mean, the Astros are a top 3 team in the AL, in my opinion. Even then, so you gotta put them in there. The Angels. The only problem with the Angels right now is their pitching that I am not completely sold on. I think the bullpen's decent, but starting pitching, I'm not sold on them that much. They do have some good hitters, though, so they could possibly sneak in there, possibly get in the World Series and win it. And then the Oakland A's, no count of Billy Beane. That's the only reason why. I know it looks like they're going to lose out on Kyle Murray to the NFL, but the A's, they still have a lot of good players on that team. And their bullpen's pretty damn good as well. Angels. The Angels are a 100-1 odd. 100-1 odd. 50-1 odd. Angels are a 50-1 odd, and the A's are a 30-1 odd. Let's talk the other two teams, Rangers and Mariners. Rangers, they don't have enough. I think the Texas Rangers next year, I think, could possibly be on this list. Seattle, they're pairing up for 2021. Now to the NL teams. NL East, 4 teams I think could win the World Series here. I think that the Braves. Let's talk about them first. They need to try find another superstar. They might be a dark horse with Bryce Harper still. If they could get Bryce Harper, they could definitely make a run. But even without Bryce Harper, I think the Braves, they're good enough to make a run at the World Series and possibly even win it. And the Braves, by the way, they are a 14-1 odds. Washington Nationals, you look at the Nationals, looks like they're going to lose Bryce Harper, even though I heard there is a possibility he might be back. But if he doesn't come back, there is some interesting moves. They went out and got Patrick Corbin. They traded Tanner Roark to the Reds. So, interesting move there. They also, basically, they're making moves like they know Bryce Harper ain't coming back. They're still a pretty good baseball club, though. They have a 16-1 odds to make the World Series. I think that the Nationals could possibly finally sneak in there. I know they have trouble winning playoff series, but you never know. Phillies, they're the favorite for Bryce Harper right now. They have a 20-1 odds to win the World Series. I think the Phillies have enough to compete in the playoffs and possibly get there. Question is if they're going to win or not. So that's why they're on the list. And then New York Mets with that starting rotation, and they have enough hitters now on that team. And Cano, they still have Cespedes on that team. They have enough hitters now that they could really make a serious run, in my opinion. The Mets maybe luck into the World Series again and possibly even win it. And the Mets, they are at a 25-1 odds. Miami Marlins, we know they're 3-4 years out. They're not on this list. We know they're 3 to 4 years out. NL Central, 3 teams. The St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis is going for it this year. Paul Goldschmidt. Their starting pitching I think is good enough. Their hitting's definitely good enough. They can maybe use. They went out. I think got Andrew Miller as well. They're definitely going for it. The Cardinals. We'll see what happens, but they are definitely Cardinals definitely going for it. And the odds I'm looking at, they were from November 1st, the day after the World Series ended. Cardinals are a 12-1 odds. I think that probably went up to 10-1 once they got Paul Goldschmidt. So definitely something to keep your eye on. The Cardinals, they could really make some noise. Chicago Cubs, can't count them out. They have too much talent on that team. Joe Maddon's an excellent manager. Can't count that team out. The Cubs, there are also a 12-1 odds to win the World Series as well. And then the Milwaukee Brewers, yeah, some people do think that was a fluke last year. Personally, I don't think it's a fluke. It might be a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if the Brewers actually don't make the playoffs per se. But you gotta put them in there. They were one game away last year from making the World Series. You look at Milwaukee. Yeah, they don't really have that outside of Christian Yelich, the NL MVP. They don't really have that big time superstar, but especially pitching wise, I know they're trying to make a trade for Zach Greinke again. I heard that was Kiker. Also, they did went out and just got Grandal, the catcher, Yasmani Grandal, for like a 1 year, $18 million deal, something like that. So Milwaukee, they're willing to spend money. The only question I have for Milwaukee is that do they have enough? They are a 20-1 odds to win the World Series, Milwaukee. So we'll see what happens. But overall, they really Milwaukee could really make some noise again this year. The other two teams, the Reds, I know they made some moves to get Matt Kemp, Yasiel Puig. They went out and got Tanner Roark. They have some pieces on that team. Joey Votto's still on that team. I just don't think it's enough. I think in this division, the NL Central, which I think is the best division in baseball this upcoming year, I just don't think it's enough to compete with the Cardinals and the Cubs. So, and Milwaukee even so. That's where I'm at with the Reds. Pirates, same thing. I just don't think they have enough. Pirates, they kind of made a big splash last year. Chris Archer at the trade deadline. Some fans were on the fence about that. And thinking that they may have gave up a little bit too much for him. We'll wait to see what happens, but I know I'm friends with a few Pirate fans, and they some of them are on the fence about it. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I just don't think the Reds or the Pirates have enough to go ahead and have a chance to win the World Series in 2019. They both have. The Pirates have a 100-1 odds, and the Reds also have 100-1 odds as well. So they definitely have a shot, but I just don't see it. NL West, two teams, Dodgers and Rockies. Dodgers, no explanation, plenty of talent on that team. In my opinion, they should cakewalk through the NL West, in my opinion. They have a lot of talent on that team. I know they traded two outfielders, and Kemp and Puig. They're on the running for Harper. If they get Bryce Harper, they could really make some serious noise. And then the Rockies, listen, the Rockies are only on this list because they made the playoffs last year. I'm not sold on this team at all. I think Nolan Arenado, I think he could be traded at the trade deadline possibly if the Rockies are like on borderline of being out of it. Then you look at the Rockies, you're not sold on the pitching. The losing pieces in the bullpen. Hitting you're sold on, but that's not enough in today's baseball. Today's baseball, good pitching always beats good hitting, and the Rockies don't have good pitching. So that's my problem. I know that they have decent pitching, they don't have good pitching. So by the way, the Dodgers are 7-1 odds, and the Rockies, there are 35-1 odds. So we'll see what happens, but overall, I just don't see the Rockies sitting up there and really making much noise this upcoming year. And then the other three teams in the NL West, Padres and Giants are kind of in the same boat. They could possibly contend, but I just don't see it happening. I don't think they have enough talent on that team. and then the Diamondbacks, they're rebuilding. So we'll see what happens. But overall, those are the 17 teams. The teams that you saw a picture of the logo on their screen, those are the teams that I think have a shot at the World Series. Those 17 teams of winning the World Series, a shot of winning the World Series. Thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. More likes, more subscribers, more fun we have on this channel. And this is Big D the Beast signing off.